in 6.2, we're looking at the equation of a line in standard form. This standard form isn't something I need you to memorize. I will help you with it, but I want you to be able to manipulate it. So it's mostly kind of a chapter 4 connection. There are two forms for the equation of a line. One of them is that we've been using this one. So we have seen this is called slope y-intercept form. And look, we've got this form here. We use it all the time. Remember, it's lowercase for all of these variables. Lowercase y, lowercase m, x, and b. So lowercase. This is a very useful form because we can clearly identify the slope. So we know that the slope is here. So the m is the slope. And we can also identify the y-intercept. So this one here tells me the y-intercept. Right? So that, the y-intercept, which is b. That is a very, very useful form. We use this all the time when we're graphing. So we change it to this form whenever we need to find the slope and y-intercept or when we're graphing. So very, very useful. So from here, I've given you a messed up form. So sometimes it's this form here is called standard form, which again, you don't need to know the name. You'll know the name next year, but I'm just showing you the different forms. So give you this. This is just a messed up form, so it's no form at all. And I want you to be able to switch it from these forms, any form really, back to the slope y-intercept form. So I want you to go back to here. So to go from any form back to here, you have to have your goal. My goal is to have the y all by itself. So if you'll remember in chapter 4, we did manipulation of formulas. So this is going back to chapter 4. I want you to isolate y by itself. So go to your equation, whichever form I give you, and say this is what I want by itself on one side of the equal sign, equaling the rest. So here, I'm going to grab the whole term that has the y in it. So I want that whole thing by itself, which means I'm going to bring everything else to the other side of the equal sign. So I'm going to bring the 3x. So again, this goes back to chapter 4. So it's like chapter 4 solving. All right, where we're solving for equations. So I want you to isolate the negative 6y. First, we'll do this first, and then I'll show you how to get it by itself. So bring the 3x over. That makes it negative 3x. And then the 12 over, that makes it minus 12. I do want the order to be like this, x and then number. So see how I've got the x variable and then the number. So x and then the number, so I can match this. So I'm trying to match it. This is what our goal is in this unit, not unit, but this section, is to match it. So then it's almost matching y equals mx plus b, except it's not y, it's negative 6y. So then we're going to divide each one of these separately by negative 6. So they all get balanced, and then we're going to cross this off, and we're going to get y equals negative 3 divided by negative 6. I want you to grab these two numbers, negative 3 and negative 6, ignore the x, negative 3 and negative 6, reduce that, so that's going to be positive 3 over 6, so cancel that, and 3 over 6 is 1/2. So if you can do that in your head one more time like that, that's faster. So 3 over 6 will be 1 over 2. This one here, we've got the negative and the negative, which makes it positive. And then look at this, 12 and 6. 6 goes into 12 2 times. And we do want that reduced. Okay, so I know that's a little bit of fraction work, so you might need to slow that down a little. But you're doing each number separately. So 3 over 6 is 1/2. 12 over 6 is 2. Then make sure you answer the question. So I want you to change it to this form. It doesn't tell you to do that, but you have to know. You have to know that the main goal of this is to go to this form. I want you to change it to the form and now find the slope and y-intercept. So my answer would be, therefore, m equals, you don't have to put therefore. You can just put m equals 1/2, which is your slope, comma, b equals 2, which is my y-intercept. Okay, you don't have to put the therefore, but that's my conclusion. Let's try that again. So take this equation. I want you to switch it to y equals mx plus b form by isolating the term with the y first, and then we'll get the answer from the rest out there. So bring this over. 9 is already there. So we're going to just keep negative 5y on one side. Bring the 7x over, so it's negative 7x. Right, that hops over. The 9 stayed where it was. It did not cross this equal sign here, right? So then the 9 stays plus 9. It did not move, so it stays over here. Notice the order. I wanted x and then the number. X and then the number, so I put x the number. Okay, so one more time. We want the term with the y by itself. This one crossed. The 9 stayed where it was. So this 7x became negative 7x. The 9 stays where it is. That is not y equals mx plus b. That is negative 5. So then we divide everything, each term, by whatever's in front. That crosses out to be 1. This leaves me y equals, now cover this up. That's negative 7 over 5. It's just a fraction. So the two negatives cancel to become positive. And then can I reduce the 7 over 5? No, I cannot. So 7 over 5. Put the x here back in the middle. You'll notice it's in the middle. And then how about plus 5 divided by negative, or plus 9 divided by negative? Positive negative makes it negative 9 over 5. And that's it. Now answer your question. So therefore, you don't have to put therefore, but I put therefore m equals 7 over 5, which is from here, comma, b equals, and grab this, negative 9 over 5. So you can see it's just combining a little bit of chapter 4, which is this manipulating formulas with our equation. Okay, let's do it again. So here, we take the term with the y and get that all by itself on one side of the equal sign. So move this one over. So we're going to go 3y equals, that hops over the equal, 0 is just there, so negative 5. I want y all by itself, so divide whatever's in front by the 3, that cancels out. Y equals negative 5 over 3, and there's no x. So then this is a special case, right? This is my special case where the y equals a number, and it does this. So then I know, therefore, m has to equal 0, because it's horizontal, and my b is the negative 5 over 3. So the b there. So it's a special case. Okay, you can recognize that it's only the y. Okay, and again, you'll start to get used to the special cases. Again, isolate this term. Whoever hops over, that's my equal sign. So yes, it changes sign. Yes, it changes sign. Leave the negative 5y by itself. Changes sign, changes. I'm going to write the negative 4x first and the minus 20 because, again, I want it x and then the number. So the x variable with the number. Divide everything by whatever's in front. Cross that off. Y equals, now cover this up. Can I reduce negative 4 over negative 5? Yep, to be positive, so it'll be 4 over 5. Put the x in the middle. You'll notice, right, we've talked about this before, x goes in the middle there. Okay, and then here, can I reduce that negative 20 and the negative 5? That becomes positive, and it's 4. So positive 4. So therefore, m equals 4 over 5, and b equals the positive 4. Okay, so you can see it's just about manipulating the formula. Let's try that again. Okay, and at this point, if you want to pause the video and try it yourself, we want to isolate the term with the y. Bring these ones over so they switch signs. Positive 2y stays here. I put the x first, and then minus 10. Leave the x first, right? Divide both sides by whatever's in front to cancel out. Okay. Negative 3 over 2, can I reduce that? Nope, so negative 3 over 2. Put the x in the middle. Negative 10 over 2, can I reduce that? be negative 5. So therefore, m equals negative 3 over 2, comma, b equals the negative 5. Make sure you don't lose the sign. It's a negative 5. Okay, so it's a bunch of just manipulating the formula. So it's not too bad, I hope, right? And we're used to the y equals mx plus b at this point in the chapter. We're going to look again, and we're going to do something else. This is called standard form. So standard form, you don't have to memorize this. We'll always give you the formula. Next year, we'll get you to memorize it. This is called standard form. So we'll usually give you this formula and say, okay, put it into this form. This form here is a different form of the equation of the line. We just, for this chapter, it's just the algebra. So we're just working at just the algebra of the equation. And we'll give you this formula. We'll say put it in ax by plus c form. So I want you to be able to manipulate back and forth between these forms. So I just want the algebra of it. And then next time we'll learn more about the standard form. But these are my rules. I don't want there to be any fractions or decimals for these coefficients. The first coefficient, I want you to be positive. So whichever way you want to move it, I want you to be positive here. So let's just be a positive in the front. And no fractions or decimals. And I do want it to be x, then y, then number equals 0. So the order does matter. So I want no fractions or decimals. It has to be positive to start with, and the order does matter. So I want x, y, number equals 0. And it has to equal 0. Okay, it's called standard form. We'll work with it more next year. This year, we're just looking at the algebra. Okay, it's a different way to write the equation of a line, and again, we'll work on that more next year. This year, I just want you to be able to do the algebra of it. Like, so we're linking it back to chapter 4. So this is a chapter 4 link. So just like in chapter 4, we'd be able to do this. So sometimes we have topics that combine the different chapters. So here, state why these answers are not right. So if a student said to you, oh, this is in standard form that you asked me for, I would say to them, no, it's not, because look, it should equal 0. Right? It doesn't equal 0, so it should equal 0. So this one's wrong because I didn't get it to equal 0. Should equal 0. Right? Does not, I'll say does not equal 0. This one here, again, does not equal 0. Does not equal 0 yet. This one here, again, they're all does not equal 0. Oh, none of these equal 0, so they're all bad. Oh, this one also, fraction. Fraction's not allowed, so no fraction. This one here, it doesn't equal 0. Here, oh, this one should be a positive. Needs positive, so don't leave that. And here, again, fractions. So I don't want, so no fraction. Okay, so I don't want the fraction here. Okay, or any fractions, so no fractions allowed. So let's fix them so that they are in this form. So I want x, y number equals 0. And then we're going to fix all of these guys so they're in the proper form. And we will give you this hint. So we're not expecting you to memorize the form. We'll say change it to this form. And I just want the algebra done. So first thing I would do is I would, at x stays first, the y is going to flip over to be with the others. I don't care which side the equal 0 is on. It doesn't matter. So if I bring the y over here, I got the 0 here. That's okay. 0 equals. Now, the order does matter. So I said the order matters. I want you to put it in alpha order. X, then y, then number equals 0. So leave the 3x here. The y is going to hop over, become minus y. I'm going to put it in the middle. So it's like you're ordering if you kind of take a picture and you're going, okay, I want from shortest to tallest or tallest to shortest. I want the first alpha x, then I want the y. You can leave the 8 here, and that's fine. That's beautiful. So it's x, y number equals 0. Gorgeous. So again, this is kind of a throwback to chapter 4, just working on a bit of algebra. So here, I need it to equal 0. So I want to have everything on the one side. So I'll bring, oh wait, but if I bring this one over here, it makes it a negative x. And remember I said no starting it with a negative x. So I'm going to bring these ones over. And I'm going to leave the x where it is. Because if I bring the x to the other side, it makes it a negative x. So I don't care which side the 0 is on. 0 equals, let's leave the 6x where it is, and I'll bring the negative y over and the 5 over to make it negative 5. And that's perfect. That's gorgeous. You change the form. So you can see it's not super related to the equation of the line right now. It's mostly related to chapter 4, which is algebra. Okay? For this one, I want no fractions, so I'm going to multiply every single one of them by the lowest common denominator. So multiply by the lowest common denominator, which will be 4. So times 4. Right, so I want to times everything by 4, so I'm going to multiply each one of these times 4. We want them all to be multiplied by 4 to get rid of that denominator. So if I multiply this one by 4, so watch what happens, you get 4y. If I do 4 times this one, 4 times 3 gets me 12, divided by 4 gets me back to 3x. Let me do that one more time. 4 times 3 gets me 12 divided by 4, which is 3. So you'll notice that if you multiply by the lowest common, the 4 and the 4 cancel out and you get the 3. You can do slower and go 12 over 4, which gets me 3 again. And this is 28. So 4 times 7 is 28. So whenever you multiply by the lowest common, you'll get rid of it. So when we get one of these fraction questions, I want you to practice doing that. 4 times 3 is 12, divided by 4 is back to 3. Then I need it to equal 0, and I want to keep x positive, so I'll bring it over to this side. So this one's a little bit fast on this one. So one more time. We multiply by lowest common, 4y. 3 times 4 is 12, divided by 4 gets you back to 3 again. 4 times 7 is 28. Right? So hopefully you'll realize this one's a little bit trickier because of that, but we'll get used to this form. Keep the 0 on one side. I'm going to keep the 3x here. The 4y hops over, and it becomes negative 4y. That's the only one that moved, and the 28 goes here. I want the order to be x, y number equals 0. I don't care which side equals 0 is. Okay. Couple more, or a few more, 3 more. And one more time. This one, it has to equal 0, right? So it does not equal 0. So I need you to move it over. I can move the 5y over, but also look, that's a negative 4x. And I said the rule was I want you to have, first should be positive. So let's move the x over so it stays positive. So that makes it a positive 4x. The 5y did not move, goes in the middle, and the 9 goes on the other side, equals 0. So I want the order xy number equals 0. And that's it. So it's just, again, we're going back to chapter 4 to do a little bit of practice of ordering things. Should feel better now, right? So chapter 4 should feel a little bit easier, I hope, by now. So now this one, someone brought it over in the wrong side and went, shoot, they're all negative. Or so not all negative, but the first one's negative. So I need it to be positive. So you have two choices. Either you hop them both all over, all 3 of them over to the right side, or you can just multiply the whole thing by negative 1. So multiply by negative 1. If you multiply each one by negative 1, you flip all the signs. So that would get me a positive 3x, negative 5y, positive 12, and 0 stays 0. Or some people go, well, I just hop them over to the right side, so positive 3x, negative 5y, plus 12, same thing. Okay. If you're given a fraction, I want you to multiply by the lowest common denominator, which is going to be multiplying it by 2. So that's going to be 2, 2, and 2. All of them multiplied by 2. And 0 by 2, but that won't change anything. So 2 times a half, 2 times a half is 2 over 2, which is going to get you 1. Right, so you should hopefully get used to this. So now when we come back to chapter 4, it should be a bit easier. So times 2, 2 over 2 would be 1x. 2 times that is 14y. 2 times that is 16. And 2 times 0 is 0. And you're good to go. So it's, again, it's a throwback to chapter 4 where we're just manipulating the equation. Sorry, just looking ahead to see what I'm doing. Okay, and then the next part, I'll go on to the next page, is change it to standard form, but we would never ask it this way. We would tell you to change it to ax, by, and c equals 0 forms. We would give you the hint for this year. Next year, no, but this year we'll give you the hint. I just want you to change it. So again, see how it's not equaling 0? I need you to bring everything to one side, get rid of the fractions and such. So the first thing I would do would bring y over here to leave that as a positive 3x. So 3x, this one hops over, so it becomes a negative y. Leave the 8 where it is. And that's it. That's all. And we would give you the hint. We would say, change it to this form. We would say standard form, but this is the form. One more time. I need it to equal 0. So you're either going to move it to the right or move it to the left. In this case, x is negative. And we said the rule was that x had to be positive, so I'm going to move them to the left. So that gets me a positive 5x. Don't write 6. I want to leave the y where it is, and then the 6 hops over and becomes 6. The reason why I did that is because the order. I need it to be in alpha order. X, y, number equals 0. Okay, and then the last one here, or last two here. You can move them first. I'm going to get rid of the fraction first. So multiply by 5. Okay, multiply by 5, each one of them. When I do that, it's going to be 5y. 5 times the 2 is 10 divided by 5. 10 divided by 5 always gets me just the 2x back. You'll see that pattern. This gets me 15. Right? So it's 5. Then I need to make it equal 0. So I'm going to move this one over to leave the 2x positive. 0 equals 2x minus 5y. And then leave the 15. And that's it. That's beautiful. Gorgeous. Okay, let's practice the fraction one again. I want to multiply it by the 3. So that's 1, 2, 3. That gets me 3y. And are you seeing the pattern here? So it still stays negative. 3 times the 4 is 12. 12 divided by 3 gets me 4 again. So when you multiply by the lowest common, on these simple cases, it gets rid of the bottom denominator. And this is 15. We're going to move everything. I need it to equal 0. And unfortunately here, this is a negative. So I'm going to move it to this side to make it positive. So this will be 4x. Keep the 3y in the middle. Has to be the middle guy. And this one's minus 15 equals 0. Okay, and that's it. Beautiful, gorgeous. Okay, so you can see it's just manipulation, chapter 4 manipulation of the formula.